Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Q&A. I guess it's a webinar, but let's just call it a Q&A session. Our goal tonight is to cover some of the 2024 improvements. We have 6 slides. We're going to roll through them really fast and let you ask questions about the things that we are doing so you understand them better, can make your decisions and things that work for you. Excuse me. Let's start off with the big picture of the 2024 upgrades. I'm going to go right at some things that you might have noticed already. Because of our experience last year and the growth that we had, we have decided to add some more people to our team. I know we've made this announcement internally. We've made this announcement in the Facebook groups, but I just want to make sure everybody understands it. Really, last year, Namrita has joined BaseCamp as a full-time at the moment, let's, I guess, call it employee, but she's really here for a partnership. For those people who ever worked or known with me, I'm a very partnering kind of person. I love teams versus any type of hierarchy. So, and now she really is partnering in BaseCamp and continuing to grow and be part of the group. In September, we officially added Tina. We sort of sucked her in over the summer, but it was official in September. So this is the team. Debbie couldn't join us tonight. Menachem couldn't join us tonight because he's been asleep for a while. But that's the whole team. So we have a new team. Namrita and Tina, we have new team members, are really here to help out and drive the program. We'll learn over the next couple of weeks obviously you've worked with Namrita as both a coach and a nutritionist. Tina has been a coach with us now for about a year. She's coaching a couple of people on this webinar. I can already see, so her experience there. She's going to be a much more active role in the leadership of BaseCamp this year. And she's also responsible for social media and marketing. So if you don't tell all your friends to join, you're going to make Tina look bad, and we don't want that. So no pressure, right? Don't worry. We like Tina. We'll keep her no matter what you do. All right. One other question I want to tackle. We were just talking about it, and somebody asked me about Amber. And Amber will not be an active part. We're hoping she'll guest ride for us some this year. Here's what's happening. She actually told you last year in late February, she was offered a full-time position with her church. For those who know Amber, she's very spiritual. It's super important to her. And she took that position. And she's actually running their online community side of their church. So we actually trained her up, right? We taught her, and now she's literally doing what we're doing right now for Harvest, which is great. Like I said, that's important to her in a great spot. She is also still riding and is attempting to go to the Paris Olympics, which would make her, when she already holds this record, the oldest endurance athlete to ever go to the Olympics. And she's training and doing all the right things to get there. I do not coach her officially at this stage. Just to be very open, because somebody's going to ask me eventually. She's on her journey in her way. We fully support it. We help when we can. We hope she'll do some guest rides, but probably between training and Harvest, I think she'll do some guest rides, to be honest with you, but I don't know how her schedule is going to work out. I know she's pretty pressed right now. That's, part of it. That being said, we have new coaches. As you know, you're going to see more coaching faces in BaseCamp, and some of those improvements we're going to talk about. So that's big overarching. We've invested in some more people. We're trying to increase the size of our team. We have a bunch of other upgrades that are trickling out from that. So let's just jump into those real quick. We're going to break them into categories. Each of us will do a little category. For training this year, my number one goal in training improvement is I will get even with Rebecca Rush for her treatment of my head at RPI. Because Kathy helped her do that. Kathy, you're just as much on the hot seat, and Era set me up, but I will get even. Don't forget that. All right. What we've done new in this year of training, continuing to look at our improvements. I rewrote, along with Namrita, and Namrita's really been a partner in this, all the training plans. All of them are new, totally rebuilt from scratch. Last year, I did the lab rats, and I did a lot of experiment with neuromuscular manipulation, gearing, some acceleration, some lactate shuttle sprints, and this is a fair warning, the lab rat group named BARF sprints. I don't know why, but yeah. That I evolved into a process known as DTP, dynamic training protocols. And all it's really doing, besides the fancy name, is it is a series of neuromuscular manipulations, particularly later in the 4-week or the 4-month cycle, later in the cycle, that help your body, help the type of fitness you have, your fitness specificity, translate being on the trainer all winter, because there's a cost for that constant pedaling stroke, that all that control. And DTP basically better prepares you to translate your indoor fitness to outdoor performance. Second big addition, because we needed more versions of the plan. We have like 96 versions before we customize now, because can't keep it easy. We have new plans. All of our plans now have a beginner, intermediate, and an advanced level. You don't have to sign up for a different program. I've gotten that question a couple of times. Just sign up for the program. When you get your training and fitness survey, it's going to ask you a little more about your training history than it did last year. Based on those responses, we're going to recommend the best plan for you and your actual training maturity. My real goal here, what happened last year, we had some newer riders, and we see about 15 to 20% of our riders being in that more beginner phase. Maybe this is really their first deeper dive into structured training. Our training plan is built, was a little too hard for them in places. So the beginner has a little less interval, I'm oversimplifying, and less interval days. So they recover better, they can hit that workout, because without a little training maturity, it can be kind of hard. So we've just bounced it out. The intermediate has more time and intensity, more intervals, is more targeted towards somebody with a couple of years of structured training. The advanced training is very similar to intermediate. It has a little more time and intensity distribution, but it also has some individualization. It's very similar to the intermediate, and I'll walk you through that process as we go. So just know that's what's going to happen. But wait, I don't want to explain it now because we'll get into a deep conversation. In BaseCamp, you'll get it. This year, we have the 50% increase in Zwift group rides. My math is really bad. It's actually 100% increase. I didn't think about that. Neither did you guys point it out. So we have on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have an all Eastern times. We have a 10 a.m. and a 5:45. This year, we're going to have a 7 a.m. Eastern. So we have an early morning Eastern, which was missing. Then we have a 10 a.m. Eastern, which is really West Coast 7 a.m. So there's your early morning for the West Coast. We have a 5:45 Eastern. There's your evening after work ride for the East Coast. And then we have a 9 p.m. Eastern, which is 6 p.m. East Coast and 3 p.m. Hawaii. So we're trying to make a better East-West Coast balance so everybody can participate in our public Zwift rides, because they're larger and a little more energized. And of course, they'll be coach-led. We're going to be reading the rides. We have some of the people that were leading your meetup rides last year have kind of graduated into public ride leaders. We're still going to do a bunch of meetups. We're still going to work around schedules and do all that stuff. That really is just our public rides. We have some new advanced alumni-only webinar stuff. We did a little bit of this last year. We're evolving our education for alumni only. Because look, I actually said it earlier, you have a new advanced plan. The plan isn't that much advanced, but we're going to teach people to be smarter about applying it and potentially making minor edits to it to better improve its individuality for you. And finally, Tina has taken over our challenges. She has some grandiose plans that she wouldn't share with us tonight. She's like, I'm not going to tell everybody. No, we have some cool new challenges, some fun with sponsors, a new way of structuring it. You're going to see, actually, we changed up the order. We want to make the challenges more engaging for you, more executable for you, and also be able to finish the season or the 16 weeks in a way that really utilizes the idea of challenges of finishing off well and doing kind of a final test and some other cool ideas and some big prize packages. So all that's going to be cool and new this year. That's my highlights. I'm going to turn it over to Namrita for nutrition updates.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah. So I think at this point, you guys have all been in the program before, and you have a good understanding of basic nutrition and fueling, and, even a higher appreciation for how it impacts your riding. I have several athletes on this call too, and I know that you specifically have seen a true tangible benefit of integrating fueling with training. So I think that's what's really the biggest upgrade from a nutrition standpoint for you guys going into the coming season is just the whole way we're approaching advanced training for alumni and advanced nutrition is a more integrative approach. You really can't have one without the other when it comes to training for performance. So the advanced webinars, advanced courses will all have better integration of nutrition with the training protocols and concepts. And so with that, I'm going to jump down to the third bullet here, but the energy needs targets and how you specifically fuel for each type of training day within the program itself, it'll be more integrated in Training Peaks, probably using some sort of notes and overlay. But for the first cycle, we want to give you an idea of how to really better target energy needs for those different types of training days. Once you get that, you guys are smart and you can, figure out how to carry on with that. But of course, we're available for additional coaching. Some of the nuance and how to adjust for rest weeks and event weeks and tapering. And, if you're off the plan or sick, that type of coaching will come in the group itself. But it's just the simple integration of energy needs targets with the training will be in the plan this year. And then we did spend a good amount of time streamlining the process of the energy needs calculator. Thanks to Debbie, she helped me execute that. And you'll fill out basically just a simple web-based form with your information, age, sex, body size, height, weight, etc. And you'll get an email back that clearly gives you ranges for each type of training day. So we're trying to do a lot more like that. That's kind of automated and very simple to understand. And then we can obviously go into more detailed personalization within the group.
Awesome. And the energy needs calculator, it makes life so simple, and it's so easy to teach everybody how to understand the pattern. Once you get the pattern, you know it forever. Awesome. Awesome work, Namrita. All right, the next one is strength, but since Menachem's tucked in his little bed, and I bet he has like those fuzzy pajamas with the little feeties. I mean, can you see big Menachem in there? I'll do his part. We have all new training plans. He's been working on them. I've been part of the work on it, to do it, just kind of trying to improve for what our audience needs and really getting things done. At the core of this, we're doing a condensed program. We really see that time management for strength training was such a challenge last year. We're doing a 20-minute program, like a full program that you can get done in 20 minutes or slightly less. We think that's important because maybe not everybody has the time to do the full program, which is more like, 30 to 45 minutes. But if you do the 20 minutes, there's still a lot of gains to be had. So we'll also have the new streamline or time crunch kind of program. Finally, he's redoing a lot of videos. He upgraded about half his videos last year. He's redoing those now for improvements in the process. So all new strength. And also him and I did a lot of time, a lot of effort working in the training plans and aligning the strength days with the intensity days better, because that was a little confusing, I think, for people. Last year, we've done a better job of aligning the strength and the training plan to be a more clear pattern, rhythm of training. So I think you'll see that as a benefit. And then finally, our newest addition to the team, which I'm super excited about, I've asked Tina to talk about, but I'll just kick it off. I really wanted to pursue somebody when I see how base campers, one of the areas we can do a better job is learning or teaching you, the member, how to better prepare for events mentally, how to deal with adversity mentally, how to come back from injury mentally. So we did a pretty extensive search. So we found what we think is the right person to fit the mix. So now I'll turn it over to Tina. Not that I took all the cool stuff, right?
Dang it. No, I'll do my best. I'll share a little bit about Carrie, but really excited to have her on board, and she'll certainly be present as we get rolling forward. So you'll hear lots more from her, which will be better than me explaining about her, but I'll do my best. So like Tim said, we're just adding this mental performance piece really as the fourth leg to our stool with the training, nutrition, strength. Now we've got the mental performance as a really that key piece of the program. So Carrie's awesome. She's got a bachelor's in psychology, so she's got her master's in sports psychology. She has been working with athletes both individually and with teams for the past couple of decades. So this is a thing she does all the time for a living. And we're really excited to have her as part of our team. Tim's got on the slide here, she's got a couple of books, and they kind of align with the two focus areas. She has one is rebound, you can see there. That's kind of on the injury and setback recovery piece. And then she also has the on top of your game, that's around mental toughness. And so her areas that she's really looking at are around event performance and then recovery, which is just ideal for what we're doing. And she's, she's worked the sort of spectrum, she works with recreational athletes all the way up to the elite level. So similar to what we're doing, she's working with everyone, this really diverse group. And when you're thinking about the mental performance side, thinking about how are you managing anxiety and nerves? How are you quieting your mind? How do you deal with feelings of comparison? Even on some of our challenges, like our Zwift challenges, you get in that feeling of like, oh, which group am I in and how do I stack up? And what if I'm not feeling great? And you're like, oh, I know that this person's going to be there and they have a higher FTP than me. And just like, even if you know that you shouldn't necessarily be like having all those thoughts, they come anyway. And so thinking about how to manage some of that, confidence, mental resilience, all of these different pieces, all of the mindset pieces that go into this. I think one of the quotes that Tim put that I resonated with a bunch of folks around, when you think you're done, you're only 40% of the way there, like how much your mental state, how much that impacts what you're doing. So whether you're just aiming to get through your workout or whether you're looking to podium for the race or anything in between, thinking about the mental piece there is super key. So we're really excited to have Carrie on, and you're welcome. She's got Instagram and Facebook. She's got a website. You're welcome to Google her, but you'll hear a lot more about her coming up soon, but that'll be a key piece. Excited to have that new part coming in. So
awesome. Yeah. And it really does give us the fourth leg of the stool. What a comprehensive program. And that was our goal. Remember, our goal is whole athlete development. We've been missing this part. It's going to be an excellent addition. Now, as we bring those together, I want to make one other announcement. Training, nutrition, strength, mental performance. This year, one of the ways we're going to coach is every Friday, and it might not be every Friday because there might be a challenge week or something like that with the occasional skip. Namrita and I are going to do a coaching podcast. This is only for the BaseCamp group. We've seen us kind of working on our public broadcast show. We're getting better every time. We actually can push the buttons and make the technology work. So we're doing good. The reality is, and this is going to be a shorter podcast version. We'll record it Friday morning-ish, depending on where you live and everything else. It'll be available in video and podcast under the same systems you want, but it's going to be topical to that week in BaseCamp and looking forward a little bit. Let's call it the week that just happened and the week going forward. So you'll have a little bit of dialogue. So many of us are riding longer hours on the weekend and might be stuck on the trainer or going outside. This gives you the podcast to listen to. It gives you the video cast if you want to watch it, whatever works for you. And it will be not like, we're not going to be like, hey, let's talk about cardiovascular fitness this week. We're going to talk about this week in BaseCamp. We're focused and we're going to coach through this. We guess these will be about 20 to 30 minutes. The way we're going to set them up, we're going to actually ask questions in the Facebook group the day before, like what questions do you have about this week, your training, what's happening, what you're learning. We'll start out with a little overview of the time frame and then dig into those questions. We just think it gives us another way to answer your questions, help everybody learn and carry forward. I have a feeling first month we'll experiment a little bit with topics and how it rolls out, but by week 17 we'll have it nailed. It'll be perfect. All right, next topic. Sponsors. You might have known that we have some new sponsors, those following in Facebook. Our biggest kind of exciting, really, we have two big new exciting ones, Lauf Cycles and Panache Clothing. I will make a little announcement tomorrow or Wednesday at the latest. Your clothing is shipping. So if you ordered the new collection that we did with Panache, which the flexibility of Panache's design allowed us to do that collection, which has been awesome. You're going to get notification tomorrow or Wednesday that your shipping is happening. They ship out of Boulder. So depending on where you live, anywhere from 2 to 5 days after that, you'll have it in home. So just know that's coming. We have a new great relationship with Lauf. We all are riding and testing the Lauf bike. I will again say, even though I'm sworn to secrecy, so I can't say the word, but there might be a special offer, something, present, gift the first couple of weeks of BaseCamp, a very nice one that might even make up the cost, if not more, of joining BaseCamp on Lauf cycles if you buy them in that time frame. So if you were thinking about buying one or whatever, wait. And look, I get it. I'm not trying to sell you a Lauf bike, but I'm going to feel really bad when somebody is like, oh, that's great. It's great you guys on a Lauf bike. I just bought one. I'm going to feel kind of bad. So there's my little, and don't tell anybody I told you. It's a pretty good scenario, whatever, kickoff. That's a good word. You'll like it. So sit tight and wait if you're thinking about one. And you could ask us if you want it. We've all been pretty impressed with the bike as a whole. I've really enjoyed mine so far. Can't wait to race it. Okay, that's really it. I mean, I'm sorry that even took 5 more minutes than I thought. We just want to go to Q&A now. Ask as many questions as you have, comments about the stuff, put them in the Q&A box, right? Like there, the instructions are on the screen, and we can take turns and tackle them. I'll tackle the first one from Shannon. For strength, did you say all programs will be 20 minutes times 3 times a week, or will there be 2 different programs? There's really 3 different strength programs: advanced, beginner, and the 20-minute condensed. So advanced, beginner, and 20-minute condensed. So you can pick from any of those 3. It's been my, excuse me, it's been my experience that the advanced and the beginners take about 45 minutes. I don't move through exercises pretty well. I have a hard time focusing on videos. So maybe I'm a little slower. Where the condensed one is like, it's kind of a combination of supersets, like quickly moving through things and stuff like that. I'm going to answer the last one that just came in because they're on strength programs, and I've had all the contact with Monaco. Will the strength program require any equipment? Kettlebells and stretch, or kettlebell, barbell, and stretch. And if you don't have a kettlebell, a gallon of water could even work. There's other ways around it, but no highly specialized in-home equipment. Okay. Well, Namrita, why don't you take Mary Carroll's? It's not really questions. You're muted. Mute.
Yeah, I don't want it to be winter yet, but looking forward to winter BaseCamp family fun. We really are too. I mean, we've been working so hard since we last saw you in the spring, and we are like really excited. I mean, I'm already riding on Zwift, so I'm just excited to ride with all of you on Zwift. No, but it's going to be awesome. Tina joining the team is, I mean, I can't even tell you how cool it's going to be. So we have a lot of great things happening, so we're excited too.
Okay, we don't have to answer. TJ says, what if I want a new bike now? First off, that's a very healthy way to express your feelings, TJ. We all get healthier when we want new bikes. So excellent step for mental health. Yes, if you want a new bike right now, go ahead and buy it. I totally get it. Just you're not allowed to complain if for some reason there was a better deal in the first 2 weeks of BaseCamp. TJ, good to see you, buddy. Tina, you want to take Monique's?
Yeah. Monique asked where the program's going to have more outdoor riding details this year. Yes. We're really trying to make sure that you've got the option. I mean, you've always had the option to execute indoors or outdoors. Really trying to make sure that this year it's really clear if you're doing it indoors and outdoors, what you need, and that you can do it both ways. I mean, I don't know about you all, but I love to get outdoors. Those Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday rides would encourage folks to go outside on those, and definitely trying to make sure that the plans have that information so that you're able to do that.
Yeah, and you guys, one of the interesting, I see technology improving to support your outdoor riding. Head unit's ability to read those structured workouts are getting better and better and better, even picking up messaging and stuff like that now. So if you're doing outdoor, and I think we need to make this note, we need to I can do a deeper dive educational video on how to use your own head unit better to execute outdoor workouts, because it'll read everything and actually now show you everything Zwift will show you. So that could certainly be a way to use technology to enhance it. I need to put that on my to-do list. Mary Carroll says, what time are the West Coast group rides? 3 hours earlier than the East Coast group rides, or is it 4, right? So
Right.
we have our East Coast rides. I'm only giving you the time in East Coast so you can translate. We're 7 a.m., 10 a.m., 5:45 p.m., and 9 p.m., which on the West Coast, oh boy, I'm going to get this wrong, is 4 a.m. West Coast, 7 a.m. West Coast, 2:45 West Coast, and 6 p.m. West Coast. So depending where you live, hopefully we have an early morning and an evening. Now we'll still have some meetups in the midday. We'll still have some meetups on Wednesday. We'll have meetups and, supporting in, but the reality is that should cover it. Hopefully I got those times right, but I think you get my point. All right, I'm going to answer the next one too, because I'm probably the only one who has the insight on that. John Livengood, very good question. That's a great question. Would previous year's plan be classified as intermediate level? Is an advanced level plan this year harder than the same hour plans of a previous year? Of all the plans, the DTP makes it a little bit harder, but not in a way that will create more fatigue. So the idea of DTP is you just have some shorter, like 3-minute things where you have a lot of pace change. And those actually typically occur early in the workout because we're trying to activate. We don't want everything to stagnate. You have the same pattern of muscle. You always recruit muscle fibers in the same order, but changing the demand a little bit early so we don't get into what I call droning mode. Those are maybe would make the workouts a little bit harder, but not really. They're not something super hard or anything like that. I would say the plans in an effort sense are actually a little bit easier than last year because I was anticipating the DTP additions. So in summary, last year's plan would feel very much like an intermediate plan of this year. Last year's plan had actually a little more threshold work in it in cycle, like the end of cycle 3 and cycle 4, it ramped up a little bit harder into a peak. This year, we don't have quite that ramp up, not quite as much FTP work, but you'll see more of the DTP elements in the 4th cycle to prepare you for outside. So that's a fancy way of saying, yeah, they probably do line up pretty well. The intermediate plan of this year is probably a little bit easier because you just don't quite get that more intensive 4th cycle ramp up. But hopefully it will translate better immediately to outdoor instead of having to ride outdoors for 3 to 4 weeks before you start really feeling that fitness. Hopefully that answers. I'm going to tackle the next one, even though my team's going to beat me up later, because this is something hot on my mind, and I want to give a public, while I have a lot of you here. We posted a couple of days ago about Mallorca BaseCamp selling out, and I told people it was going to sell out fast. And it did. It was actually sold out by like Sunday morning, I think, or overnight Saturday. And the store closes when it sells out. We have an inventory in the store and it goes to 0. And I wasn't able to update the website fast enough to say, hey, it's now sold out. We have 7 people on the wait list, and I've already received an email of frustration. Why do we close the camp so early? And I feel really bad. And I say this to people, and I swear people think I'm bluffing and honestly, I feel bad. And that's why I'm explaining it. I think people are bluffing. They're like, oh, he's bluffing. He's just trying to sell something. And I say that every time. And then it sells out. And inevitably we get a couple of frustrated emails, and I can understand the frustration, but yet you have the ability to solve your own problem. You really do. And I just mean that as far as go sign up when I say so. I'm not going to post it until it's serious. Now, let me tell you about BaseCamp. We have a fair amount of you, and you have your reservations in place. If you're reserved, your alumni, if you haven't reserved or you haven't bought, if all our reservations coupled with our people bought right now, we only have about 40 spots left. Now, I know about 25 people that have reservations in the end of the day might not be able to attend. So more spots tend to be open, but that might be 65. It's going to, I don't know why. I appreciate everybody's business. I think Mallorca sold out so quickly because people are enjoying the things we do. We are not going, like the person who wrote me said, you should just bring more people. Just open it up and bring everybody. We can't deliver a great product with everybody. We want you to belong with us. We want to have fun. We want it to be social. We want to build something special, not make money. That's really not our outcome. Don't get me wrong. We want some food and on the table and some clothes on our backs, but you don't get rich in cycling. You do it for other reasons. And that's our motivation. So I'm going to tell you right now, those are the spots left. You want to ensure you get a spot, buy it. Sorry, I'm not trying to pressure you, but I have a feeling this year it's going to sell out early. We had 22 people who didn't get into last year be the first 22 people to reserve. They had to reserve last year and last December, and they were the first 22 people on this year's list. Don't be one of those people. If you want in. We don't bend. We're going to do the numbers we do. I think it's 330 people. We only, as a matter of fact, we haven't increased that from last year. We have some scholarship people and things like that on top of that, but that hasn't been increased. Go sign up. Same number, same game.
Tim?
Yeah.
Can I jump in for the referral credits?
Yeah.
Thank you everybody on this call that has referred a friend. And hopefully you've gotten your yellow socks as a thank you, because I've been madly sending out yellow socks to everybody. So if you do have a friend that you want to recommend and you haven't gotten your yellow socks yet, please refer them. And all they have to do is put your name in, how'd you hear about BaseCamp? And then I'll automatically send you a pair of socks, because I have all the addresses and you'll get a surprise and delight. So thank you very much for referring people.
Well, it's no longer a surprise, just a delight. If you do refer somebody, you get a pair of socks.
Also, early bird ends Tuesday. You all might already be set for that. That might be great. If you have friends, early bird ends Tuesday, October 3rd, not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow. So if you have friends that are thinking about this, make sure to send them send them the info. We have FAQs on the webpage. Have them talk to Kathy, whatever you need. But that's $50 off, and that ends next Tuesday. So make sure you give them a nudge for that.
Yeah, great point. Because then good point.
And I would be happy to talk to any of these friends of yours. If they have more questions about BaseCamp, you can find my Calendly link on the main site, and I'd be happy to talk with them so you don't have to spend 10 minutes talking to them about it. I'd love to do it. Thank you.
All right, I'll tackle Bruce's question because I wrote the plan, so I know it's in my head. Yes, we extended the first cycle a little bit. So the rest of the first cycle is over Christmas weekend. So we built in Christmas as the rest, even though it's not always exactly rest, but we'll work through that. It's the best answer. So Bruce asked, what does Christmas week look like in terms of hours of commitment? It's a low. We built a little in earlier the week. It's not like a nice clean calendar week because Christmas Eve is on Sunday and Christmas is on Monday, if I remember right. But we've worked around it pretty well. Namrita, you want to tackle Andrew's question?
Sure. How will you allocate training volume among the plan? How many hours per week are in the medium or heavy volume plans? The heavy is over 14 hours a week. I think we just called it 14 plus, and I think the highest it goes up is around 16. Is that right, Tim?
16 plus is the highest plan.
Oh, 16 plus. Okay. And then just under that would be 12 to 14 hours a week. So, we have the extended group workouts. We obviously have, longer rides several days a week, focusing on more volume, more aerobic volume. But if you're looking for more than that, depending on what your availability is and how much you're looking at training, I kind of know what you did this year, so we can definitely help you if you need to be higher than 16 hours a week.
Yeah, I didn't want to write any because at that stage, when you get into that kind of training, you got to be a little careful. So if you're going beyond that, you can ask us and we'll give advice. And by the way, for everybody listening, when you do your fitness survey, we ask you your hours availability. We assign the plan that you can train to. And then if it's wrong, we can always give you a different plan. TJ says, well, I missed Mallorca. I am now fully paid up for BaseCamp, but Mallorca is on my calendar for 2025. TJ, I so want to go to a camp with you. We'll have some fun. Mallorca is such a great trip. I'm so glad it's sold out. Kathy and I have been going for a very long time. It's kind of our place. So We'd love to see you over there. Michael asks, okay, I'll tackle it. If you're working with a coach, does one need to register for BC? Just tell your coach to register you. The coach registers with Debbie. If you're a paid athlete, you get BaseCamp for free. I mean, if you have a one-on-one coach, you can still follow along in BaseCamp and be part of the community and everything else, as long as you stay with that one-on-one coach. And Bruce says, thanks for the Christmas answer. You're welcome. All right, I think we tackled. Sorry, I grabbed a bunch of those, but having written the plan, I had the answer. Tina, Namrita, or Kathy, anything to add?
Not really.
Awesome. So if you're recommending your friends, we do really appreciate that. I kind of forgot about the early bird expiring. If you have friends who want, get them in there, get them in for early bird, save the $50 and get some socks from Kathy. We have a lot of socks, so we're expecting a lot of reservations. We do have a big box of appropriately yellow socks. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll talk to you soon. See you now.
Talk to it.
Thanks.
Bye.